What's up, everybody? This is Ingram. I'm one of the Minecrafters, and today I'm back with another Minefactory Reloaded tutorial. And today we're going to cover the harvester, the fertilizer, the planter. We're going to use a precision sledgehammer, and we're going to use some industrial fertilizer, and we are going to make automatic farms. One of the important things in our farm today is going to be the industrial fertilizer, which is used by Minefactory Reloaded fertilizer machines to instantly grow whatever is in front of them. Now, there's two different ways to get this. There is a recipe that will produce 6 industrial fertilizer. You can see it here. It's wheat, bone meal, string, and sticks. Or you can actually use the animal farm, if you've seen that video, to use a sewage collector underneath animals, which produces sewage. And then that sewage gets pumped into a composter, which makes industrial fertilizer automatically without any resources needed. Otherwise, you can set up a factory to make industrial fertilizer. Either way, you're going to need a lot of it, depending on how much food you need. If you're providing food for your entire server and there's a lot of you, you're probably going to need to set up a decently legitimate rig. Now, one of the things I'm going to be using today in the video to provide power to all of our machines is this Mark III remote power core. I won't really go into how to build this too much. That's definitely a tutorial for a different time, but basically what's happening is we're consuming a ton of EU and we're outputting Buildcraft power, and that's coming out of this Buildcraft producer into this wooden pipe and finally into this thing, which is a phase conductive pipe, which is sending power to frequency 100 on the public channel. So there are other tutorials that are going to be coming about this. You can use the remote power core tutorial, the combustion engine that you may have already seen that we put out a little while ago. That's fine. That's the Mark I remote power core. This is a Mark III, and we'll go over that later. Now, I want to show you a couple of already set up factories here. This one is making carrots, and this one is making wheat. And what these are going to do is the planters on the bottom. We have a fertilizer here that's loaded with some industrial fertilizer, and we have a harvester here which is going to harvest all these plants. It's going to send them down. We can see wheat is going into our ender chest and seeds are going back into our planter. We have the same or a similar setup over here, and this one's actually making carrots. And there's carrots in the planter, and then instead of a diamond pipe, we're actually going to use a distribution transport pipe to divide the stuff that's been harvested. We're going to put 1 carrot in there and 1 carrot back in the planter. You can play around with the ratios. I started with 1 stack, and you can see we're working on our 3rd stack there. So it is producing more than it's using. So you just need to play around with that a little bit. Our diamond transport pipe, really quick, is going to look like this. We're going to have the seeds going back into the planter and everything else going into the chest. So to set that up, you can put seeds in the yellow, because if you look here, the yellow color, put seeds in the yellow line. Any seeds coming down will get put out there. And you can either put wheat in the black, which is going to go straight down, or you can just take it out and everything that's not a seed will automatically go into the ender chest. Either way is really fine. It depends on your personal preference. Now, these are being powered by a remote core, which we showed really quick over there. These are set to send and receive on the public frequency 100, which is going to enable them to pull power from our remote core and make sure that these guys are fully loaded here. This lightning bolt indicates that these are fully charged with power. And then the other thing I did, there's a lever on the front of this if you want to turn these things off, because they are going to produce a ton of whatever you're making, ton of carrots, potatoes, wheat, melons, all that stuff. It's going to produce a ton. So what you're going to want to do is throw a lever on here so that you can actually turn it off. And unfortunately, in SMP, the graphics don't always update, and I'm not really sure why. This is actually an inverted green lamp, so that when the machine is off, the lamp is also off, and when the machine is on, the inverted lamp returns to its normal state, which is actually powered. If we were to, yeah, for some reason, there we go. It doesn't like to update the block in SMP for some reason, but as soon as we turn this off, it will turn the light off as well. So now I'm going to show you guys how to actually build one of these. Okay, so to get started, one thing I like to do is just elevate it one block off the ground. Totally up to you. Just makes it easier to get underneath there, and the bottom is actually the planter. And the planter machine will automatically, we're just going to put some dirt above it, it will automatically plant anything that's in it, seeds, potatoes, carrots, in a 3 by 3 square of dirt directly above it. It will automatically take care of hoeing the ground, planting the seeds. You do not need water in this setup. And if you really want to trim it down and have a bunch of these in a row, you only really need the dirt directly above the planter. You don't need all these other squares. This is if you want to make a ton at a time. Anything that you do, that it'll work fine. So what we're going to do, we also need to set up our harvester and our fertilizer. So we're going to take and we're going to put the fertilizer block down. Now this is facing the wrong way, so this is where the precision sledgehammer comes in. And you just right click twice to turn it around. We're going to do the exact same thing with our harvester. And the precision sledgehammer is easy to make if you haven't already made one. It just uses plastic sheets, which you can look the recipe up for. It's made with plastic, or it's called raw plastic, and you just take normal rubber and put it in a furnace, and you get raw plastic. So now what we're going to do is, if we want to set this one up to produce wheat, then we're going to actually need to come out of the bottom of the harvester with, we're just going to put a gold pipe to make things go fast. Then we're going to go into a diamond pipe, and then we're going to have the diamond pipe have 2 outputs. One of them will be an ender chest linked to our sorting machine, which for us is always blue, blue, blue. And what we're going to do is we're going to set this diamond pipe up so that yellow output side is going to take all the seeds back, and the black will take everything else. So things are going to come down this way, and then seeds will go out the yellow side, and everything else will go out the black side. So if we right click on this diamond pipe, we get its little GUI, and we're going to put seeds in the yellow and leave everything else blank, and that'll be fine. Then we're going to go ahead, we're going to put seeds in our planter, and we're going to take industrial fertilizer and we're going to put it into our fertilizer machine. And at this point we are all set. The only thing left to do is supply power. Now if you haven't seen the remote power core tutorial, I highly recommend that you check it out. Otherwise, supplying power to these things is going to be considerably more elaborate. But for us, all we need to do is set up this rig. I have a loop here to make sure that the gold conductive pipe doesn't explode. It will kind of spool the excess energy in here and send and receive through our phase conductive pipe. Now we're going to link our phase conductive pipe to our remote power core over there, and we're going to do frequency 100, send and receive, and make it public. And we can see that immediately the power is going to start to surge through the system, and it fills these up really quick. So now if we look here, there's a little bit of a graphics bug. I don't know why, but the planter has planted the wheat seeds. You can see them coming in, and the fertilizer is going to automatically fertilize and grow them, and the harvester is going to automatically harvest them. And if we sit and watch for a little bit, we can see that the wheat is going to come straight down. Here they come. Wheat is going to go into our ender chest, and the seeds are going to go back into the planter. Now, if you want to be able to turn this thing off, I highly recommend putting a lever. And all you need to do is flip the lever off, and the machine will actually still look like it's running, but it won't be allowed to plant anything anymore. Okay, so to show you another option that you have with these things, I've created an oak tree planter, and I just put oak saplings in there and changed the diamond filter to send oak saplings back into the planter. And we can see when this thing SMP, there is actually a tree here, and it's not being shown. I don't know why. Kind of annoying, kind of bad for the video, but for some reason my computer is just not displaying this tree, but it is there. Maybe we can nope, don't appear to be able to trick it. So the harvester has a setting to keep the leaves, to keep jungle wood or not, and what's going to happen is this thing's going to harvest the leaves. We can see the sapling coming in, and now it hit the wood, and it's going to funnel all that wood right into our ender chest. And this can be used to set up an automatic oak tree farm. Oak has a recipe in Equivalent Exchange 3 that can actually be used to make, there we go, now we get some rendering. Oak wood can be turned into obsidian, and obsidian can be turned into iron. So if you're having iron shortages, you can set one of these babies up to automatically create iron for free. And we'll just wait a quick second here. We can see that it's going to hammer through all the leaves, and then finally it will get to the oak wood underneath. Now you can speed this up by putting a ton more harvesters in here and then just linking them all together. And each harvester will process one block at a time. So if you have, say, I don't know, 6 harvesters, you're going to do 6 blocks at a time instead of just one, and it will go a lot faster. So I'll just show you a really quick setup that we have in our base right now. It uses the same basic principle. It's a slightly different design. But here we have only one square directly above the planter. We don't need all that other stuff. These produce stuff way too fast. We're also using thermal expansions redstone energy cells and conduits to provide the power. Again, our remote core is actually refilling the redstone energy conduit. That is a switched conductive pipe underneath there. You can see the power flowing through. And then the only other difference is that this is an ender chest containing all of our fertilizer, and this is a wooden transport pipe, advanced wooden transport pipe that's specifically pulling fertilizer out of the ender chest in case there's other stuff in there and putting it into the fertilizer machine. Now, redstone energy cells, when they have energy in them, can actually power wooden transport pipes, so we eliminate the need for any redstone engines. The glowstone in above the whole rig is just, it's not really needed, it's just there for effect, to provide uniformity of design, and that's pretty much what you have. So, hope you guys enjoyed. Thanks for watching. As always, if you have any comments, please let us know either here or on the blog at themindcrafters.com. Thanks for watching, and stay poised.